Hello. I pray that today you will find some measure of joy, challenge, encouragement as a result of this simple thought. I want to talk about a man named Job. Job was a godly man who faithfully honored the Lord in all of his doings. The Bible makes it clear that he was in some ways a trophy to God, that God was pleased with Job and took notice of him and the life that he lived. We also know that Job, as a result of the affliction of his enemy, Satan, that he lost everything: his wealth, his children, his peace, his relationships, and finally, his health. And in all of this, it might have seemed as though Job had lost the ability to get an answer from God. It had become very quiet. How many times has it seemed the same for you and I when going through a trial or dealing with some sort of crisis that God He's not responding? This only seems to make the situation worse, or at least how I feel seems to worsen, and we begin to question everything. We feel the weight of this trouble, and if not careful, we may begin to give in to feelings of fear, anxiety, and we become desperate for an answer. We become desperate for an escape. We may become angry with God and ask Him why. Why is He silent? Why will He not answer? Why will He not deliver? And if we're not careful, we begin to allow thoughts and feelings to arise in our own lives that would cause us to become offended with God, ultimately turning our backs on Him, no longer trusting Him, choosing rather to go at it on our own, to do it our way. Understand, though, that no matter the situation, no matter how bad things may get, you are never alone, and you certainly are never powerless. Much like Job, we always retain something that is God-given and can never be taken from us. This is a power that not even God will go against, but it is a power that, when wielded correctly, will cause God to respond with all of heaven's resources on our behalf. What is that power, you ask? What power did Job have? The power Job always possessed throughout all of his suffering, his rejection, the false accusations, the absolute devastation of his life, was his power of choice. He had every opportunity to reject God, to blame God, to hate his supposed friends, to become bitter toward his wife, but he chose to retain his faith and his confidence in God, to remember that even in death, he would still be better off trusting God than rejecting Him. It has been said this way: the last of the human freedoms is to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to be able to choose one's own way. This statement was made by a Jewish man who survived not one, but 3 different German concentration camps, and realized this profound truth in a moment when, in a horrific, emaciated condition, stripped naked, standing before his tormentors, he determined to find joy in his realization that these tormentors may afflict his physical body, but he controlled his integrity. And it was his integrity which dictated his response. Job makes this statement in Job 13 and 15. Though he, speaking of God, slay me, yet will I trust him. How can he say this with confidence? Because he had come to a place of intimate relationship with God. He did not just know about God, he had now seen God. So, what will you choose today? How will you respond to the situation, the circumstances, the conditions of your life? Does God have to prove anything to you? Or have you arrived at this place like Job, like our Jewish friend, that no matter the circumstances, I will remain resolute that nothing shall separate me from the love of Christ. Therefore, in all things and in this current trial, I shall choose to be joyful. You see, our Jewish friend had everything taken from him, his dignity, his possessions, his health. Everything was stripped away. Our friend Job suffered a similar situation. And both of these men understood that the one thing that could not be taken from them was their power to choose. To choose what? To choose to become angry, to become bitter, or to remain a worshiper, to remain thankful, to remain someone who would look steadfastly to God, knowing that though I might be afflicted, I shall not remain here. For the God whom I serve shall not only keep me, but he will deliver me. Be encouraged today and be reminded that as much as things may look otherwise, you are powerful. And you can choose what you think. You can choose how you feel. And you most certainly can choose within whom you will trust. Trust someone who has never failed. Trust someone who will never fail. Put your trust and your confidence in God and let it remain there. For if you will continue to choose God, you will remain. You will become an overcomer. God bless you. Be encouraged today. And remember, choose life. Choose God. It's always better on his side. God bless you and have a wonderful evening.